History isn't just what happened, it's also what almost happened. A single vote, one decision, one moment. But what if events went another way? Join us on the journey as we explore what if Archduke Ferdinand's driver didn't get lost? The date is June 28th, 1914. The place is Sarajevo. A bomb has already missed Archduke Franz Ferdinand's motorcade. The conspirators are scattered. The plan is failing. In our timeline, the Archduke's driver makes a wrong turn. The car stops. The engine stalls. Gavrilo Princip finds himself face to face with the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. 2 shots change the world. But what if the Archduke's driver receives the correct instructions and follows the new route? The car never slows and the assassin never gets another chance. Archduke Franz Ferdinand survives, and because of that, World War I never begins. The failed assassination still causes outrage across Europe. Austria-Hungary blames Serbian extremists. Russia protests while Germany warns against escalation. And for many weeks, Europe appears headed towards war. But then diplomacy prevails. With no dead Archduke, there's no national humiliation and no public demand for revenge. The crisis slowly cools into what historians later call the Sarajevo Scare. People celebrate the fact that Europe narrowly avoided catastrophe. But what none of them realized they avoided was a war that in our timeline killed millions and destroyed entire civilizations. And just think, without World War I, Germany is never defeated, Austria-Hungary never collapses, the Ottoman Empire never fails, and the Russian Empire never moves towards revolution. The old order survives, and because it survives, the 20th century becomes the age of empires. And in this age of empire, one country stands out. Before 1914, Germany was already Europe's most dynamic economy. Its universities led the world in chemistry, engineering, physics, medicine. Its factories and production were unmatched. In our timeline, the 2 world wars interrupt this. In this alternate world, nothing does. Every year, Germany grows richer, their companies expand, and Berlin becomes the financial center of the continent. And by the 1930s, Germany dominates Central and Eastern Europe economically. And they didn't do it through conquest. They did it through investment, trade, and industry. Many smaller nations become economically dependent on German markets. A customs union gradually expands across the continent. European integration still happens, but instead of being centered around Brussels, as it is in our world, it's centered around Berlin. By mid-century, Germany effectively the leader of Europe. Other empires developed differently. Now let's look to the East. Without World War I, there's no Bolshevik Revolution. That means no Soviet Union. At first, this appears to be a victory for the Romanovs, but survival creates its own problems. The Russian Empire remains enormous and powerful, but warning signs grow. While Germany industrializes quickly, Russia rots from within. It struggles with corruption, inefficiency, and political stagnation. And the gap between the 2 powers widens every decade. Of course, this means tensions will eventually erupt. But unlike our world, these don't grow into a global war. Instead, the 2 empires engage in a series of regional conflicts across Eastern Europe. Poland becomes a flashpoint, the Baltics become a flashpoint, and Ukraine becomes a flashpoint. By the 1940s, Germany defeats Russia in a short but decisive conflict. Now, the Russian Empire still survives, but it loses its influence over Eastern Europe. The Tsar remains on the throne. Russia remains a power, but it's no longer one of this world's dominant powers. Berlin has won the struggle for Europe. Perhaps the greatest surprise of this timeline occurs farther south. The Ottoman Empire survives. For centuries, Europeans called it the sick man of Europe. In our history, World War I finished it off. Here, that never happens. The Ottomans continue to reform and modernize. They expand railroads, they grow universities, and modern industries emerge. Then comes oil, and everything changes. Massive petroleum reserves are discovered across Ottoman territory, including in Mesopotamia, Arabia, and the Persian Gulf. In our timeline, these resources become controlled by a patchwork of new states and foreign companies. But not in this world. They remain Ottoman. The empire suddenly controls the fuel of the 20th century. As cars, planes, ships, and factories become dependent on oil, Ottoman wealth explodes. Istanbul becomes one of the richest cities on earth. German factories need Ottoman oil, and Ottoman oil needs German machinery. But instead of conflict, they form the most powerful economic partnership in modern history. Berlin becomes the world's workshop, and Istanbul becomes the world's gas station. The absence of WW1 and 2 have another impact here. At first, this world seems more peaceful, but there's a hidden cost. While destructive, war drove many of our greatest technological achievements. Without the two wars to push scientists, jet aircraft arrives decades later, radar develops more slowly, computers emerge later, rocket technology advances gradually. Nuclear research receives less funding and stays theoretical, and medicine misses out on many advancements. And since the Soviet Union never came into existence, and the United States never entered wars in Europe, there's no Cold War. And without the Cold War, there's no space race. Because in our world, the space race emerged directly from Cold War competition and missile development. In this alternate world, nobody feels an urgent need to reach the moon. Governments are practical. Why spend fortunes reaching the moon when there are railroads to build and colonies to manage? The first human in orbit doesn't happen in 1961 like for us. Here, it happens in the 1990s. The moon remains untouched well into the 21st century, and that means many technologies derived from the space race arrived decades later. This includes satellites, GPS, global communications, weather forecasting. They exist eventually, but the pace is slower and the future arrives more gradually. Without the impact of the Archduke's assassination, the old empires never fully disappear. But geopolitics is different. The world becomes organized around imperial spheres. As we've seen, Germany dominates Europe and the Ottomans dominate the Middle East. But that's not all. Britain still maintains a large overseas empire, France remains influential in Africa, and Japan controls much of East Asia. The United States dominates the Western Hemisphere, but is less involved elsewhere. The result is a world that is less interconnected. Global supply chains are weaker, international institutions are weaker, travel is less common, migration more restricted, cultural exchange becomes an oddity. People identify more strongly with their empire than with a global community. The idea of a single interconnected world never fully develops. One of the strangest differences appears in sports. The modern Olympics already existed before 1914, but in this timeline, they never become the global phenomenon we know. The same is true of international football. Without the shared experiences of world wars and the international institutions that follow them, there is less interest in creating truly global sporting competitions. There is no World Cup that captures the attention of billions. Instead, sporting events remain regional. They have the German Empire Games, the Ottoman Imperial Championships, the British Commonwealth Tournaments, and the Pan American Games. Athletes become heroes within their civilizations rather than across the entire world. A German child grows up cheering German clubs. An Ottoman child follows Ottoman leagues. But there is no single event that stops the world every 4 years. The global culture that emerged through international sports never fully develops. Today, this alternate Earth feels familiar and strange at the same time. The skyline of Berlin rivals any city on Earth. Istanbul stands among the world's wealthiest capitals, the Romanovs still rule a diminished Russia, and the United States is powerful, but not dominant. People travel less. Trade more often stays within civilization blocks. The world is arguably more stable, but it is also less connected, less innovative, less united. And all of this is because one driver followed directions. No wrong turn, no stalled car, no successful assassin. History often seems inevitable until you realize that one of the most important centuries in human history may have depended on a single turn at a street corner in Sarajevo. What are history's what ifs you'd like to see explored? Leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe.